Hello. Yes, we are
Hello.
back once again. Hold on. Let me make sure my microphone is the correct one. Oh my God. No, it's not. Oh, I'm sorry. StreamYard did this really weird thing yesterday where like they weren't allowing you to change your microphone or your camera. So like my microphone sounded like shit during the Survivor podcast and there was nothing I could do about it because I had no idea. But anyway, we're good now. It's the right microphone. So with that said, we are here for we're here for the next episode of a conversation with Kely. Episode who knows what at this point. Of course, we're here to talk about the week that was of Big Brother 25, not the current week that's going on. We'll do that obviously probably like Sunday. So, you can look forward to it then. But as always, I'm here with my lovely and beautiful co-host Allie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I didn't really do much so far. I just had some breakfast and finished off Freaky. And then just excited to talk about this week.
Yes.
And yeah, that's about it really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this week at this point, it's kind of old news considering that this was, we're literally on Wednesday and somebody's about to be evicted tomorrow. But we here want to, we want to still.
It's not really old news because it's only a week.
I mean, yes, but it's kind of like when you review a movie on YouTube these days. If you don't review a movie like a couple weeks before it came out, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Everyone's seen this already. Why are you talking about this? So it's kind of like that. And I feel like Big Brother this season is very much like that too, where it's like, okay, we already know what happened, get to the week that happened. But you know what? We want to stay consistent here. We want to be able to talk about the week that was, because this, I thought, was actually a very interesting week, the way everything did go down. But with that said, Allie, what did you think of this week overall?
Well, based on the outcome, I was very happy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because at first we were like, okay, is she gonna make this move and everything?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, I was so happy she did, and like it was a pretty straightforward week overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so.
It was still a good one to watch.
I think it was really good in terms of like, if there's anyone that's been like kind of waiting for that moment with Bowie Jane where like she kind of establishes herself as like someone to watch out for, I feel like this week she really proved herself, and I think it was a very exciting week to watch because of that. I always love seeing the person that nobody expects win HOH and then them doing something that like we don't expect them to do. It very much reminded me of like say Jessica in like Big Brother 21 when she won. Yeah. It very much gave me the vibe of that, just because like similar to Jessica, nobody really took her seriously. And I feel like that was the same with Bowie. Like they just didn't really take her that seriously as a player. And I feel like after this week, they take her a lot more seriously. So yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and dive into all of that. Now, I will tell you right now, we have a lot to talk about with Sunday's episode. It was there was a lot of information that was given to us on this episode. And I thought this episode was honestly one of the best of the season so far. And again, really just says a lot about how much better the Sunday episodes are when you don't have a comp to follow, when you don't have a comp going on that's going to take up half the episode. The episode, oh my God, turns out to be so much better.
Yeah, this episode was like really good.
Yeah. So we start off with Bowie. She's excited that she's the new HOH, despite thinking that she accidentally won. She was trying to throw the tiebreaker. She wrote down something ridiculously low and won, but she was pretty fired up after Mimi's comments during her exits. And this is confusing to me because she says this in the diary room, but then she also said on the feeds that like she didn't hear Goueli, so she thought Goueli said something else. I don't know which one to believe. But either way, I think it's pretty funny the way this turned out. Whether she either misheard her or accidentally won, I think either outcome is still very funny.
Oh, I think so too. I thought it was just really hilarious.
Yeah, and which do you think is true? Do you think she was trying to throw, or do you think she just misheard Goueli? Because she said two different things.
I mean, it could have been a mix of both. Like she could have maybe like misheard a little bit of what she said, but she also probably didn't really want it either because she's like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it could be a combination of both. I'm just kind of confused because she was running with one narrative on the feeds and running with a different narrative on in the diary room, and I'm just not sure which one is actually true. I do think her mishearing Julie makes a lot more sense given what her answer initially was versus I was trying to throw. Because if she really was trying to throw, why did she then add an extra number, after that? I think she would have just left it as is. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to fixate on it too much. There's too many Big Brother conspiracy theories out there, and if we do that, we'll be here all day. So anyway, Bowie tells everyone that it was a bit rude and wrong, and about Mimi's comment. So Bowie says she feels like she automatically has gone into lawyer mode. She's trying to get as much information out of people as she can. She says it's going to be a fun week. I forgot she was a lawyer, to be honest with you. I forgot that's something that like she did. I think she's just honestly done such a good job of like making them think she's a DJ. I forgot she had that like attorney side of her, but we really see that come out this week. So
definitely. Like it's like she honestly like killed this week. It was definitely the best situation so far.
Oh yeah, honestly, like I arguably, in my opinion, had the best HOH. We'll get into that, but America says she doesn't even know what Mimi's trying to get at with this whole little stunt of hers. She trusts and likes Bowie, but they're not getting Felicia to do their dirty work. But it didn't even matter because Bowie is the new HOH. They get along great, so she feels really good this week. And America tells everyone that this is going to be fun, and she loves Bowie, which Cameron says he didn't have this one on his bingo card, but it's awesome. And he's happy that Bowie's won because they're pretty close all the way back to when they both got burned when Red got home. He's had her back on his HOHs, so he really is expecting the same for her. He feels like this is going to go really great. And, well, I don't know about that, Cam. We'll see.
Does he know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, not really, but yes.
Yeah, in this point where she's like, nah, I don't want to put him up.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that. So Bowie tells Felicia she didn't appreciate that exit, which Felicia says that she never heard that. So Felicia says she survived the block 3 times. She's in the jury now. She's got to start thinking more and more strategic on her path to the final 2 chairs. And honestly, Felicia has like a really impressive resume right now. Like I think more so than a lot of people in the house. I think her resume is like very good.
Oh yeah. Like she was this person who survived the block many times.
Yeah.
And she's just been, and like also always participating in like fights, but she still survives.
Yeah, all the fights she's participated in, like it hasn't hurt her by any means. And also, like, let's not forget, she's one of only a couple women in the house that has actually won a comp, and in this season, that's like very good. So
I know, and she almost won this one too.
Yeah, so I think honestly Felicia does have a really strong arc right now, and I think the longer she stays in the house, the more that's going to continue to build for her. So yeah. So Cory's really not doing great. He's very stressed out. He got called out for the 2nd meeting in a row, and then he lost the HOH comp, which is like a memory quiz, which should be his thing. Mimi just threw him under the bus with Bowie, so maybe he can make something work this week. And Jag says they were able to flip the vote from Felicia to Mimi. Cameron wasn't really on board, but luckily he was able to change his mind. And we then get a flashback to basically the day before the eviction. Cory talks about how Mimi is more likely to win a comp, which Cam agrees that Felicia's easier to be comp-wise, but he doesn't really want her in the jury, in the jury long game. So Jag says that Cory is pitching to Cameron, but Cameron really doesn't like Cory, so he's really just not listening to him at all. So Cory leaves the room. Cameron tells him that Cory's nervous, and Jag agrees on that. And Jag tells them what Cory doesn't know is that voting out Mimi is worse for his game, and Felicia would also put him up, which Bowie agrees. And Cameron says that they're thinking the same way right now, and they appease Cory. So Jack tells them that Cory thought it was his own mastermind plan and he had to convince them. And Cameron tells them that Cory has to be the smartest person in every room that he's in. And he has to tell them how smart he is all the time, which Jack agrees with. And Cameron tells him that this actually has more merit than he's heard of anything yet. And through this conversation, just like, why didn't you put up Cory? Like, if you have such disdain for Cory, why didn't you just put him up? Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, literally, like... based on this episode, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think he honestly really just should have put up Cory, because I think he honestly would have been in a better spot if he did. So Cameron says that Cory gets to be the fall guy for leading the charge. If everything falls apart, they get another competitor off the board. Felicia is still gunning after Cory, and Cory gets looked at as the guy that's just running everything, and his name is just getting worse and worse around there. This isn't a good move for him, and it's a good move for the fugitives. So,
which, like, Cameron thinks is still a thing.
I mean, it was at this point. So,
Yeah.
Jack says that by doing the Mimi flip, he was able to keep both Cory and Cam happy. They both still think he's good with them, even though his allegiance is to Matt, his Minuteman. So Felicia asks Cirie what Bowie is going to do, which Cirie really isn't confident on. And Felicia tells her that she's mad that she got all the questions right. Then they discuss the tiebreaker a bit. And Cirie says that having Felicia win HOH would have been all right, but she's torn on a Bowie HOH. She doesn't think the relationship has ever really recovered from the red vote and her not knowing. She's going to try to maintain a level of happiness.
Now.
I mean, yes, but I do think that it's like the perfect example of something that happens very early on in the pre-jury game can affect you astronomically, like way later on. And I think in Cirie's case, I don't think she ever considered Bowie to be someone that could win a comp and that the scenario could ever play out. I mean, from what I understand, they constantly said in like the jury, you know, in the house all season that like Bowie can't win. Bowie's someone to take to the end. They haven't taken her seriously all season. And I feel like this is like basically like the consequence of that pretty much. So it's like, you know, not something she could have seen coming, but it's happening. And now she's like, oh shit, I gotta, you know, shouldn't have done that. Which honestly, in hindsight, yeah, I don't think it made sense to ever leave Bowie out of that vote. So Jag, Bowie, Cory, and America and Matt are dancing around with excitement, and Bowie says the people have been underestimating her, which is awesome. She's been leaning into her DJ side. She's definitely been trying to hide that lawyer brain, and what's great about this plan is people have been trying to work with her. She's good with Cameron. She's working with Matt and Jag, and what I liked about this episode is I feel like we just haven't seen enough of Bowie on the show. We don't really know her perspective. It's been very hard to tell throughout the season, like, what is her real, like, plan? What is her real strategy? And I feel like now we have a much better understanding of what she actually wants to do in the game. And through knowing what she wants to do, I do think Bowie's win equity has gone up tremendously at this point. I think she absolutely could win this game. And especially with what we see this week, I think she definitely has like the right idea.
Yeah, literally. Like after this week, she definitely has a high chance to win.
Yeah.
If she gets there, of course.
Yeah.
So Jag says him and Matt are in a tough spot. They're in a lot of alliances, but he only wants to do what's best for the Minutemen. Bowie is a great choice for them to take to the final three because he doesn't think she's going to backstab them before they get there. He thinks he has a great shot at beating her in some of the final comps, and he thinks he would have a great shot if he was sitting next to her in the final two. Ultimately, he thinks he's playing a stronger game than her. So Bowie says she has been getting into a better and better position each week. Cory and America want to work with her now.
Yeah, and I mean, this is always what happens when the person that everybody counts out ends up winning. Like, everybody wants them to be their third at this point, which is really good for Bowie. Like, she gets a lot of information here.
Oh, definitely. Like, it's definitely good for her in that sense. And she's like, she needs to like figure out who she wants to stick with.
Yeah.
So America says her number one ally is Cory and second is Bowie. She's so honest and straightforward, and she feels like she can really trust her. She thinks that would be a really cool final three. Bowie says there are quite a few pairs that want to work with her, but she's not stupid. She knows exactly what they're doing. They think she's going to play her game or play their game. She's just going to go with the flow, but if she does have to make a big decision, she will. It's time for her to take on the challenge of actually playing her own game and showing these people how it's done. It's game on.
And this alone is why, for me, like, this is easily the best HOH of the season. Like, something I think that people just haven't realized this season when they've been HOH is you don't just become HOH to take somebody out. You become HOH to put yourself in a better position and learn information and use that information as a way to improve your positioning. And I feel like aside from maybe Felicia, everybody has failed at doing that until this HOH. I think that there's really, like, anyone else that's been HOH this season, it's almost always destroyed their game aside from Felicia, like I said. Whereas I think with Bowie this week, she absolutely improves her positioning. And I think it's just, again, a testament to how good she handles things this week. I never thought we'd be here saying Bowie Jane has the best HOH of the season, but
I know
it's the reality right now, at least for now.
She went from fucking Bowie Jane to Bowie fucking Jane.
Honestly.
Like, honestly, queen.
Oh, yeah.
So Cirie asks Blue if she's good. She says she is, but the part of her she feels sad about is not having the person she likes strategizing hard with. Blue tells her even when the whole thing happened and everybody was grabbing her and asking how she was doing, she was like the only person she felt comfortable to share with her, which Cirie appreciates.
And my God, Cirie's social game. Can we just like talk about it for a second? It's just unmatched at this point. Like, it's not even from a game perspective. It's just the way that she talks to these people and make them feel like, you know, she's like this motherly type presence to them, always nurturing people, always trying to help them out. Like, she is so good at this game. She absolutely is. You know, you can say what you want about her strategically, but I think undisputably she's one of the best social players to ever play this game. And I think we're seeing that before our eyes.
Oh, definitely. Like, she's amazing at social game and like strategic game. She's
I would say strategic is debatable after this season.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like, she has her moments which is kind of iffy, but she's not terrible either.
I think social wise though, she's like top tier.
Oh yeah. And then physical, she obviously is not good at that, but hopefully she can like win like a mental comp or something. Because I mean, that'd be cool. Like, if she could win like one of the final comps. Anyway, so Blue says she lost her right-hand man when Jared left and the person she trusts most. Now she's getting closer to Cirie and she knows she doesn't have Blue's lips. So she's trustworthy and gives her information so she knows for a fact she can rock with her. Which, I mean, I'm here for a Blue and Cirie final too as well. Like, at this point, I don't know who she'd take over, like, Felicia or Blue.
I think that I think the bookends is still very much a thing. So I can very well see her going with Felicia, but I do think if she thinks that she like has a shot against Blue, like I think she'll take Blue. So
yeah, like I think she'll have to like think strategically there.
Yeah. But I also feel like Cirie is not going to be someone who's like, I can't win against this person. Like, I think she'll take anybody because I think Cirie is just so good at advocating for herself. I think that she'll honestly, like, she's not going to be worried about taking somebody. So,
definitely.
But right now, I think she'd probably take Felicia between the two.
Yeah, for sure. Cirie asks Blue who she'd put up, which she says Cory in America 100%, and that Cory has been on her hit list for weeks now, which, I mean, is pretty much Cory's fault. Because like she probably would trust him more if he didn't do what he did.
Yeah.
So Cirie says if she wants anything in this house, she has to find people she can trust. Pickings are slim, but right now the person who's sharing the most with her is Blue. So the person she's putting her trust into is Blue. Because I remember it was so funny. Like, I remember when Jared was in the house, I remember she did not trust Blue at first, and now she's like, no, I trust her.
Well, I think she kind of knows she has to as well.
Yeah. She was also being a mom, too.
Yeah.
Cory is showering and asking America why they keep saying they're targeting Matt and Jag. America tells him she doesn't know and she's confused where this list came from. Like Matt, Jag, Blue, and that Felicia's doing the dirty work. Cory tells her they have to start thinking actually down the line, and they don't have a lot of flexibility, and they need to lock down Bowie and make sure Matt and Jag don't get suspicious, which America agrees. Cory tells her Blue's a lost cause, and Cam is very close to a lost cause, which America also agrees with.
Yeah, I mean, Cory and America's positioning hasn't really changed this week. They both still want things to happen, but they can't really make them happen. And I feel like that's just kind of the position they've gotten themselves into. Like, they just haven't done anything to improve their positioning, and you really see that here.
I know. Like, I do feel bad for them, but they also...
I don't.
I mean, I do in a way, but they also kind of did it to themselves.
Yeah, that's why I don't really feel bad, because I feel like Cory had an opportunity to like put himself in like a power position when he won HOH, and he didn't want to do that. He wanted to stay at the bottom, and that's where he is now. So
Cory says Cam came back into the game last week and told him some really revealing information about Blue, but then he heard Matt's side of the story. We get a flashback to day 65 where Cory asks Matt why Cam is telling him that Blue is coming after him. Matt tells him that Cam wants them to go at each other instead of him. So Cory tells him that's probably why he was trying to help him so much, so he wouldn't be suspicious, which Matt agrees and lets him know he's just always going to say stuff and that he's always feeding everyone. Cory tells him he's not as good of a liar he thinks he is, and he's the one person that can beat him in comps, which Matt agrees. Cory tells him if they get the chance to backdoor him, he would.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they definitely covered this as best as they could in regards to what happened. I think, you know, Matt was very much on the Cory train, and I don't think they showed it enough last week that, like, Matt was behind it just as much as, like, Cam was behind it, and the way that they are basically, like, the way that Cam tried to frame Blue, and then Matt told Cory, no, this is actually what's happening. I mean, just, again, masterful move from Matt all around. Like, he just continues to get better and better every single week, and this is like a perfect example of that.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, like literally Matt, as a player, Matt is very underestimated.
But yeah, he is, because I think there's still a lot of people in the house that don't think he knows what's going on. When
like there's
he
definitely
knows
moments
everything.
that I don't like. There's a lot of things he says I don't like, but I don't hate him per se. I just don't like. I don't like or agree with things he says. But as a player, he's phenomenal.
But yeah, I think you can't dispute just how good he is at this game, especially from a strategic perspective.
And also for being a recruit too.
Yeah, it's, you know, he's one of those recruits that like really has like figured out the game the more it's gone on, and it's been honestly very impressive to watch.
I feel like he's one of the people who is just like he watches Big Brother here and there, but not very much.
Well, I mean, he didn't know who the brigade was, so like, you know, we know he's not a super fan. Also,
like,
DM Rocks, we will talk about this in the next podcast.
Yeah, or maybe even the next, or after we finish this, like as like some little live feed updates.
I mean, yeah, we'll see.
All right. So Cory says Cameron's acting like he has his best interest in mind, when in reality, he's just trying to set him and Blue against each other, and he's doing all of this to try to take him out and push himself one step closer to the money.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about with stuff we don't like from Matt.
We don't like that.
Very hard to overlook. It's more so like focusing on him as a player and not focusing on that, but it's hard to not focus on that when that's
I literally remember when he mentioned Andrew Tate the first time. Jag was not impressed.
It was so jarring too. You'd think like, Matt's like the last person to like.
Yeah, like know. Literally, Jag is his best friend, but like he was even not impressed. He was like, "Oh."
Yeah, that was definitely a big oof, but yeah.
I was like, "No, sir."
Yeah. My hope is Matt comes out of the house and he's like, okay, no more Andrew Tate.
I hope he does. I hope he's like, I hope he learns from this.
Yeah.
Like, sir, that's not okay.
No.
So that guy is the most likely person in this entire house to win any comp. If he thinks there's a chance he's going to put him up, he's got to go. I mean, yeah, Cameron's not a good social or strategic player, but he's good physically.
Yeah.
Like literally, his social game is terrible because he's always either in power or he's on the block.
Yeah, it literally, like, the people who have said that Cam's like a great player, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, obviously, like, you know, it's all subjective at the end of the day, but like, we have to look at the facts here. Like, Cam has either been nominated or in power every single week. Like, and when he hasn't been in power, he's been nominated. So it's like, I don't think so.
That shows how bad his social game is and strategic game.
Yeah, like if you need to be in power to not get on the block, I don't think you're a great player.
Exactly. So Cory tells America and Jag his goal for these noms is Blue and Cam. And he asks them if they're the next two that need to go up, and he doesn't care the order. Jag tells him it's going to be a hard sell, which Cory says it won't because the four of them, and she doesn't know all the shit Cam's been pulling. And then America tells him Bowie trusts them, and she knows they're a team, which doesn't include Cam, which Cory agrees with, and says if Cam wins HOH, he's not going to be gunning for Blue, Felicia, or Cirie. And then Cory says there are two people in this game actively targeting him, Cameron and Blue. He needs Bowie to nominate both of them, make sure one of them goes home, Blue and Cameron going up, get this one of the strong people out, and it's good for all of them.
Yeah, so everyone really is trying to use Bowie to like get done what they want to get done. And again, I think that it's really just a testament to how Bowie played this HOH that she does not allow that to happen.
Exactly. Matt walks in the room and Cory says if Cam wins veto this week and then wins HOH next week, he's going to put them up or put up them, and that he'd never put up Bowie. Cory tells them Blue or Cam need to go this week, and the only way to guarantee one of them is gone is putting both of them up.
Yeah.
So America says even though Cam kept her and Cory safe last week during his HOH, he's still a huge threat in this house, so it would be great if they could take a swing at him this week. Bowie's more likely to nominate Cam and Blue if her, Matt, Jag, and Cory are all on board with this plan. Her and Cory want to make sure Matt and Jag are seeing what they're seeing. And Matt tells them Bowie is going to be scared to do it, which America says they just have to make sure Bowie knows that because she's concerned about being put up next week. Matt says when Cory and America pitch for Blue and Cameron to go up on the block, it sounds nice because Cameron and Blue are big threats to his game, but flat out it's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Because the person that survives is going to come for all of them, and he knows it's Cory and America doing whatever they can to make sure the targets are never on their backs.
Which again, I mean, just Matt is staying ahead of the curve. Like he knows that like Cory and America are not good for his game right now, and he's doing what he can to make sure they don't control this HOH, even though he and Jag are basically doing the same thing.
True. They really are. Jay asks them who they'd rather have, which Cory says he wants Cam gone this week, which Jag agrees. Jag says, sorry, Cory in America. He's not gonna do his bidding. He has to do what's best for the Minutemen this week. Like he trusts them to an extent, but it's more so just like as a shield.
Yeah.
Cameron walks in the room, which Cory says they're just talking about noms, and Cam asks if one of them is secretly HOH, which makes them giggle a bit. I will say that was actually kind of funny.
And also foreshadowing something that might be happening this week.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Cameron, I'm not a fan of at all, but I mean, that was kind of funny when he said if they're a secret HOH.
Yeah.
We then get an important segment of Jag showing a bunch of them how to tie a puni. Jag says a turban is made out of a lightweight fabric, and he's used to tying it every day, and some of his house guests haven't actually seen him tie it, so he's giving them a tutorial. Like, I actually really like this segment. Like, it's just very important, and I just love how much he loves his culture.
Yeah, this is a really good segment for sure. This is like when Jag is at his best for me, is when he's always talking about his culture and how passionate he is about being like Sikh Punjabi. Like that's the Jag that I like the most.
Oh, me too. Like it's just like very like wholesome and just very endearing.
Yeah, I mean, I also just love when someone cares so much about their culture and things like that, you know?
Exactly. Bowie says Jag was showing them how he folds his turban, and it's actually quite intricate, and it was a really interesting process, and she loves the turban and the way he has a bit of color coordination going with it all. Now she can really appreciate a turban that's well done.
Yeah, like this is the kind of filler segment I want to see more of, stuff like this. Like this is not filler to me. This is like, you know, telling me more about these house guests, which is important.
Yeah, like this episode only has like 2 filler segments, but they're both very important ones.
Yeah.
Like very
I'll certainly take this over another segment we get a little later on in the week that we'll talk about.
Oh, Jesus. The one of Mimi cleaning.
No, I'm talking about the one we get this week.
Oh, I know. I'm just making a joke.
Yeah, that one was weird too.
So Match says Jag's got so many turbans. They're all really cool colors, and Jag's always looking fly. His guy should be on the magazine these days, and with his turbans always matching his outfit, and he's always looking great. Blue asks Cirie and Felicia if they've talked to Bowie yet. Felicia tells them she probably doesn't know what to do, since she wasn't anticipating she would win, and that she better start being strategic. Blue tells them she's going to try her best to convince Bowie to put up Cory in America, and she says it's not going to be Cirie or Felicia.
Well, we'll see about that.
We'll see. Blue says she obviously hasn't left the Cory train, and ever since he blindsided Jared, he has been her target, and she's been waiting for people to be on board. Even though she doesn't have the power this week, that doesn't mean she doesn't have any power. If enough people tell Bowie to target Cory, maybe he'll be put up.
Let's see.
Blue tells them she doesn't know if the Bowie Cory in America thing Mimi said when she left is true, but she'll keep telling her the next target is enough for her, and she doesn't want to shake the house. Felicia tells them if he wants to show that it's not true, put him on the block, and that she'll have to believe he can't be trusted, which Blue and Cirie agree. Blue tells them it's just going to be doubling down on it and making sure he understands that the house is going after them now.
Yeah. Yeah, Felicia, again, everyone is trying to, like, you have like half the house going for like Cam, you have half the house going for Cory in America, and Bowie's just kind of chilling at this point.
She is. She's like, I'm getting so much information, but what's the best move here?
Yeah. Which again is like what you should do as an HOH. Like, don't tell people like this is what I'm doing. Actually listen to their suggestions, and then if you don't agree, refute them. And I think that's what Bowie does so well this week, which other house guests just haven't really done. They haven't listened to other people's suggestions. They've kind of just done like what they think is right and not even tried to gain information. Where like Bowie does both things. She takes in information, but then she also gives it back and tells them if she's on board or not, which I think is really good.
Oh, definitely. Like she just like absolutely kills it this week. And like I was so proud of her, honestly, because we haven't gotten much from her at all.
It kind of makes me wish we would have seen more from her on like the show, because I think that definitely she has like a really interesting like strategy.
Yeah, like we thought at first we kind of thought she was doing nothing, but she just wasn't really getting shown.
Well, it wasn't so much. I mean, technically she wasn't doing much in the beginning. She was the person who was refuting to like strategize with people because it was too early in the game. Her and Red,
she was so chill.
Like her and Red both had that issue where like, oh, we don't want to talk game and things like that. It's too early on. And I feel like that put her in this position. But honestly, I think it's kind of benefited her because she hasn't been in this power position. Now she's getting all the information and everybody trusts her because of it.
Yep, definitely. Felicia says between her veto speech and Mimi's exit speech, she thinks the whole house is on red alert with regards to Cory in America. They are very strategic and are masterminds of this game, so if everybody can get Bowie to realize that Cory in America is who our target should be, she should jump on it, and says that she says that Bowie should play a smart game. I will say, I love Cory in America, but they are not masterminds.
No, they're, very much not. In fact, I've seen throughout the season be like, oh, they called themselves masterminds. They were joking. Like, they were not serious about that. Cory in America even know that they're not masterminds. And like it's, it could have been like, if Cory would have really utilized his position when he was HOH, I think they really could have been. Like, I've seen people say, oh, Cory was fucked over by the twist. And I don't necessarily like disagree with that, but I do think that you can still be fucked over by a twist and still find a way to put yourself in a better position. And I feel like Cory just chose not to. He rather just stay where he was rather than try to actually improve his positioning. And because of that, that's why him and America are where they are right now. We don't usually see a showmance at the bottom, so consistently throughout the season. We usually if you're in a showmance, that's an advantage for you. But Cory just hasn't recognized how to do that, and it's put him in such a shitty position.
Definitely. Like he just does not know how to handle a showmance.
He doesn't know how to handle a showmance, and I also think he doesn't know how to play from the top. I think he only knows how to play at the bottom. So
yeah, definitely. Cirie tells Blue and Felicia to not say anything to Bowie about what Mimi said before she left. Bowie then walks in the room and Blue leaves a couple seconds after. Cirie says her pitching Bowie did not nominate her won't go over well. Matt and Jag can impact Bowie's decision where she can't. She wants to convince Matt and Jag that they have to go after Cory in America. They're the biggest targets in the house, and hopefully Matt and Jag will convince Bowie of the same. Bowie leaves the room, so Cirie tells Felicia this is the third time, Jared, Izzy, and now Mimi, and questions why people are doing Cory's dirty work. Cirie tells her they can't be the ones telling her to put up Cory in America. I mean, true.
Mm-hmm.
Felicia tells Cirie, Matt, and Drag that tomorrow is the tell-all and wonders whose ass is going on the blog. And Cirie asks them what they think about what Mimi said, which Jag says Mimi isn't a liar. Felicia tells them if Bowie wants to prove that what was said isn't true, she's going to put them up. Cirie tells them what Cory's doing is genius because he isn't doing nothing. Cirie says the stove is turned up on Cory, and rightfully so. But now that they're cooking, they need to turn the flame all the way up. Felicia tells Matt and Jag they've got to convince Bowie that Cory's got to go. Cirie tells them she thinks if she's had her druthers, she would want to be with them too. So she thinks she would probably listen to Matt and Jag over Cory right now today.
Yep.
Which is true. Like, at this point, Matt and Jag are like the people that are like her go-tos.
Yeah, they're better. Well, I don't think they're her go. I think honestly, everybody in the house is Cirie's go-tos at this point.
No, like, oh no, Matt and Jag are Bowie's go-tos.
Oh yeah.
Cirie says she likes Matt as a person and she really wants to trust him, but she has burned her. He kept her in the dark about the plan for Jared, and she's hoping she can trust Matt the way he's telling her she can trust him because she really needs him to persuade Bowie to put up Cory and not her.
Yep.
Like, I don't know why they keep calling them a Comerica.
Well, it sounds like it sounds like a medication.
I just think it sounds very basic. Cory sounds way better.
Cory just has more of a ring to it. Like Comerica, yeah. It barely includes Cory's name. It's like no.
Like no, it's bad. Also, hey Janaea.
Hello.
We miss you.
Yes.
Jag says Cirie and Felicia are hoping that him and Matt pitch Cory to Bowie this week. He's unsure about this. Cory are a strong duo, but so are him and Matt. He wants to keep Cory around as a shield for as long as possible so people don't focus their attention on the Minutemen, which, I mean, it's smart.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it makes sense.
Definitely.
Matt asks Cam what they want to push for Bowie. Cam tells him eventually they're going to have to choose their side, which Matt agrees. Cam says if they go ahead and take out Cory, Blue feels like they're with her, and if they take Cory out, they're sitting good, and that he needs to go home. Cam asks how many times does he need to say it, which Matt agrees with. Cory says he didn't get a chance to pull the trigger on Cory last week, but it seems like there may be an opportunity this week. Getting Cory out of the way would just make him feel a whole lot better. He's a phenomenal player. He's got a lot of feelers out. He's in a lot of pockets. He's got to get him out as many ears as possible. If he's going to catch any traction on this thought, he's got to start with Matt, and he's got to understand where he's coming from, which I'm like, sir.
Yeah. I feel like if this many people are coming for Cory, I don't think he's that good of a player. No.
Aw. That makes so much sense, though, because we all get distracted. So Cam asks Matt why they're allowing him to be here, which Matt agrees with. Cam says the kid's a problem. Matt says he's literally a national champion in speech and debate. Matt says everyone in the house has their idea of who to pitch. Cory wants them to pitch Cam and Blue. Felicia, Cirie, Blue, and now Cam are pitching Cory. He needs to meet with his only true ally, Jag, and figure this all out. Cam lets Matt know he's a hard stance on the kid's gotta go, which Matt agrees, and Cam says let's get him out of there.
Which, again, I love the way Matt has Cam just, like, completely snowed here, thinking, like, he's on board with Cory, when in reality, he's actually pushing him. It's definitely, like, a testament to Matt's game. We then get another, like, very heartfelt segment here where, you know, all season we've heard about Felicia and how she was enlisted into the Air Force, and I think we all kind of wondered, like, why that was, and Jag poses that question to her here, and she talks about how she was in this really bad relationship and she knew she had to get away. When she met him, she didn't realize he was a fool, but when he got drunk, he was. One time he tried to throw a pot of hot grease on her and her aunt because he got mad over something. She remembers when he broke her tooth. She told her mom that she slipped and fell and hit her head on her waterbed because she didn't want them to know he had actually punched her in the face and knocked her tooth out. And she talks about how domestic violence wasn't really something that was largely discussed back then, and it was still before all of that really became a big thing. That's what made her go to the military, because she had to leave it all behind. And she remembers she came home one day, told her mom and everyone she enlisted in the Air Force, and they thought that she was lying. She told them they're going to believe her when they see her get on that airplane. It was the best decision she's ever made, and she just has to pick herself up and move on. I absolutely adore this segment. I feel like, Felicia has already given us so much in terms of content from like a funny perspective, but she also is just such an incredible person. And seeing this, it makes us love her that much more. Knowing what she's been through, knowing what she's had to overcome, it adds yet another reason to just absolutely love Felicia. It's another reason why Felicia is just such casting gold. Not only is she such a gold mine in terms of comedy and just iconic moments, she also just is such a authentic and real person. And that's what I love about Felicia. And it just, like, think about the fact that, like, she could have gone last week and we wouldn't have gotten to hear about this. Like,
I know.
This is just such an incredible moment, and it makes my admiration for Felicia increase that much more. Like, this was such an incredible segment.
Oh yeah, it was just very effective, and I'm glad like Big Brother is actually talking about domestic violence, because it's very important.
Oh yeah.
And this just makes me like really like it makes my heart break for Felicia with what she went through with this relationship. Like, some asshole was just abusing her.
Yeah, and I'm glad that like do more of this and less of like Mimi cleaning things. Like, this is more of what we need to see for sure. Because Cameron even talks about how him and Felicia have been at odds for the majority of the game, but there's a deep-rooted understanding because of their military background, because of the things they've had to endure. He loves that Felicia shared her origin of going into the military with them, and he just completely respects the person that she is. I don't know if I agree with that, Cam, but sure, because they don't even fucking talk about that on the feeds. But Felicia says she would always say she would never go into the military, but at this point, she felt like she didn't have an out. She needed to learn how to defend herself. If somebody was in a domestic violence relationship now, she'd tell them it's okay to let somebody know and to get out. If you can help, get help, whatever that help looks like. For her, back in 1982, going to the military was that help and the best move that she ever made. Just such a powerful segment. Everything that I think, like, when we talk about wanting to see more from house guests, like, this is what we're talking about. I'm not just talking about from a game perspective. I'm talking about just things they've been through in life. This is exactly the kind of thing I want to see more of. And I love that we've gotten to see a lot more things like that this season, whether it's Jag with his culture, whether it's now Felicia with domestic violence, like stuff like this. It just makes these house guests, it just makes them feel that much more real, and it's like stuff like this that,
and like with this, she's such a strong person and she's been through so much, but she like really like picked herself up and
absolutely
got even stronger.
Yes, for sure. So amazing stuff for sure. But we get back into the game here where Jag asks Matt what he thinks the best move is, and Matt tells them that they're in a really good spot because the heat is on Mecole, and if they're getting very sus about Cam, which is great. And Jag says that American Cory are good for them to keep in the game up until they don't need them anymore, and that Cory doesn't have any power without them. And Matt agrees on that, and Jag tells him he's choosing to go with it, which makes him think they shouldn't get them out over this week, and they're clearly staying to put up Blue and Cam. So Jag asks him if Cam leaving is the best outcome this week, which Matt says that Cam's getting really close to Blue, and Blue will lose that, and she'll come back to them begging to not take shots at them. So Matt tells them they need to get rid of Cam. He's got to leave either now or next week, and they need to try to make this happen here. Matt says that Cameron's the biggest star in the house. He's very good this game. I don't agree with that, but sure. Him and Jack are in a great spot, so they don't want to waste this opportunity. This might be a great time to make a big move and set themselves up for the end game. And Matt then tells him that if Cam wins next week, he's going to take a shot at Mecole or them. Jag says he thinks Cam should just go ahead and go this week. So Jag says even though he and Matt are in the fugitives with Cam, he can't trust him. Originally, he didn't want to do what Mecole wanted, but after discussing with Matt, he thinks that Cam leaving this week is the ideal outcome. So Bowie asks Matt what she should do and what she needs to be aware of. And Matt then tells her that there is a lot of ways this can go and that people are going to want to put up Cirie and Felicia or Blue and Cameron. And Bowie says that Jag and Matt are the people she trusts the most. She sort of has a semifinal 3 with them, but she needs to make sure she's not manipulated into making some crazy big moves. She needs to do his best for a game. And again, this is why I think Bowie has had the best HOH reign, because she's so focused on like, I want to do what's best for my game. I don't really care about what other people are telling me to do. So Bowie tells Matt and Jag she's throwing all her eggs in the basket and she's just talking openly and they have to get a chance at some point. Matt tells Jag that they know that he told her the options of what people are going to pitch to her. Jag then asks Bowie what their best outcome is and who they want to send home out of everyone in the house. And Bowie says she wants the people on the other side to go away. And Jag says having both of them in the game for them, their 3 is better. Matt says that Felicia is annoying and he does want her out, but she's really not a threat. So Bowie's unsure why people keep saying that Felicia is not a threat in the game. And again, I like the fact that she's on a different trajectory here. She's won HOH before. She almost won the week. She can totally see her sitting the final 2 chairs and she should not be dismissed so easily.
People are literally still underestimating Felicia.
Well, I think it's because this is a house that's like so obsessed with comp wins. Like they care so much about who's won a comp. When you have someone like Bowie who recognized that like that's not so threatening. Like winning a comp is not what's so important. It's more so about the people that are in such a amazing position. And I think we can agree Cirie and Felicia are in the best positions right now.
Yeah.
Like Jag and Matt are in the best positions because they're both winning comps. And also Matt's a very good player. Jag, pretty hit or miss, I would say. More miss than hit recently, especially spoilers. The way he's handled this last week, really bad. But I think Cirie and Felicia are undisputably like in like probably the best positions right now, and they are the people that are the most locked for the end game. So I feel like it's, you know, it's good that Bowie's saying like, yeah, they're the big threats here. So Matt tells her she's not a threat to them because Felicia wants Cam, Cory, and America out, and they're all pissed at America, Cory, which is good because that protects all of them first. Jag tells them because the whole house is anti-Cory, he actually thinks it's better to keep Cory. And because of that, they should be, you know, there's no reason to get rid of Felicia and Cirie. So it's Blue and Cam they should be talking about because they can win comps. Bowie tells them she's not going to put Cameron up since it's not fair and he can win for them, which Matt agrees. He says at the end of the day, whatever she does is what she does. And I think it's so powerful how even though she's against what they're proposing, they still are okay with it. They're like, all right, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Like it's a testament to how well Bowie has handled this HOH that she's
they're literally just like, do whatever you feel. We'll still give our perspective, but do whatever you want.
Yeah, so Cirie talks to Bowie and basically says that oh wait, where was I?
You're at Bowie says Karen.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Bowie says Cameron is the target for Matt and Jag clearly, but Cameron's never come at her, and he didn't come at her when he was HOH. So she feels like they could keep Cameron in for a few more weeks. He's a good competitor, and he would protect her. And I mean, yeah, from Bowie's perspective at this point, it doesn't really make sense to go for Cam. It makes sense to keep him in, considering that, like, this is somebody that she trusts in the game. So at this point, like, I understand why she doesn't want to do it. So Cirie talks to Bowie. She knows she's had a lot of conversations to be had, so she's not even going to pressure her, and she never even suggested to anyone to put up Bowie, and she hasn't been against her. I think this is a pretty good pitch from Cirie. She said what she needed to say here, but I think she also recognizes, like, I'm probably in some hot water here, so I kind of got to be careful. So Bowie says even though she wasn't playing on winning this HOH comp, she does have to make sure she uses this power to her advantage. So she wants to meet with everyone and see what kind of tea she can get them to spill. This is a really great opportunity for her to see where she sits in the game and also solidify some relationships. So she really needs to concentrate and make sure she's making very clever moves when there's so few players left. Cory then talks to Bowie and says that this might stress her out. He lets her know that 48 hours ago, there were 5 players in this house he felt like he trusted, and now he feels like there's 4 people that he trusts. He tells her he would go Blue and Cameron since they're very close, which she notices. We see America talks to Bowie, tells her that she basically supports whatever decision she comes to, but she wants it to be Cam and Blue, thing that there's like a very obvious duo that's forming. And Blue is astonished by this because she talks about how she wants her to put up a strong duo, but her and Cory are the most obvious duo in the house. They even have a name together. And yeah, I mean, America is so naive to think like she's not basically campaigning for herself to go on the block here, when like how are Blue and Cam a stronger duo than America and Cory? Like, not great. So America tells Bowie that Cam is obviously not a part of the group. He's trying to pin them against each other, and he's already pulling on that bullshit. So the only way to ensure that doesn't happen is if he goes up and Blue goes up right next to him. Bowie says she wants to make it as many weeks as possible, which again, I think that's another big thing for Bowie, is that she knows she's not in an amazing position. She wants to focus on how do I get to the next week? How do I get to the end of this game? So she really needs to think about who doesn't benefit her in the game. America says there are many duos remaining, so it's never too late to make the move. Bowie talks about how America and Cory are really pushing hard for her to put up Blue and Cameron. That is a move that 100% serves them, not her. She's not going to do their dirty work. And Blue then goes to her, says she feels like this is how Cory's playing the game. He sees her as expendable, using her as a number for his game. Now they've had Felicia and Mimi call him out. She thinks that America Cory would be the least amount of blood on her hands. Bowie says she thinks that the safer option for her would be if Felicia and Cirie went up. There is she has more of a history with them. And Blue is certain that putting up Cirie would likely ruffle some feathers. So Felicia talks to Bowie about who she feels the safest with, and Bowie tells her she's careful of everything that she's told, working out whether it's true or not. She thinks everyone's playing the game. Felicia tells her she really needs to really be thinking about her game, where she lands even in their lineup. Felicia says that Cory has played a good game. He's been allying himself, and he's made everybody in the house feel like they're safer. He's worked through other people to get what he wants to get done without ever getting his hands dirty, but she has to decide how long that she's going to let him do that. So again, she's very adamant towards Cory going, which is not a surprise considering how she handled the last week. And then Cameron finally talks to Bowie, and he tells her that he's there to do whatever she needs him to do. And he brings up Cirie and Felicia as an easy option, but if he was ever going to contemplate anything, she should go for Cory. And she knows who has the votes this week, them, Matt, and Jag. So if they really want to send him home this week, they don't need anyone's permission. Bowie says she has not seen her side of some of these people. She's not seen her side of some of these people before. They are spilling exactly where they are in the house and who they want out. She wants to file this information and keep it to herself and use it when she needs to. She's playing this game and will not let it play her. And just such a good confessional all around. Like
so good. And like this,
I love seeing.
Literally, we got so many notes for this episode because there was so much game talk and no like comp, which was great.
Well, yes, but also I think just for Bowie, this was a really great moment, considering that again, we're just really seeing, her positioning in the house and how she's taking this information in, but not like spilling into everyone else, which is really good. So,
it was a fantastic confessional from her. Yeah. So we finally get to the nomination ceremony. After
literally almost an hour into the video, which is ridiculous.
Literally, it's so funny, right?
Yeah, it's not even like there's a lot that happens in this episode, but for some reason we have 8 pages of notes. So yeah,
this episode was just so good.
Yeah, I don't know why we wrote so much, but yeah,
because it was very important.
Was it?
Yes. So it's time for the nomination ceremony, and after being presented numerous options, Bowie ultimately decides to stick with her initial idea, playing her own game, and nominates Cirie and Felicia. She apologizes she asked to do this, but they're getting to the point at the end of the game, and there just aren't many people left, and she really hates having to do this, and she tells them, when in doubt, blame Cory, but then laughs and says she's only joking, it wasn't his fault. She starts walking away, but everyone laughs and tells her she's going the wrong way, which honestly, that was really funny.
It was, but like, have we ever paid any stock into where somebody walks in for the nomination ceremony? Like, I've never paid it any mind whatsoever, so I just thought this was really random.
I mean, everyone goes the opposite way, so it was just really funny.
I've never even noticed it. Like, I haven't even paid attention to the fact that people go that way. Like, I just thought, like, you go any way you want. Like, I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Bowie says she nominated Felicia and Cirie because of them blindsiding her from the red eviction, so she just can't trust them. Everyone loves Cirie. She is a great player, and she thinks she may be a bigger threat. She hasn't told anyone about her preference of who goes home, and she will continue to keep that to herself because literally everyone is connected to Cirie.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for Bowie, like, this makes the most sense. Like, she knows that Cirie and Felicia are in this really strong position. They've lied to her before, so she can't trust them because of it. Like, I think these nominations do make sense.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it definitely makes sense for, like, just initial moms for her.
Yeah. Do I like it? Of course not, but, like, you know.
Yeah, it just makes sense, sadly. Cirie says she's been trying to avoid this block like the plague, yet here she is. She's smiling and she's hugging Bowie and just letting everyone know this is okay. But now the plan is to survive the block. Depending on what happens with the veto, then you may say her powers of persuasion in action. And this is also going to be Cirie's first veto.
Yeah, well, I was also going to say that, I make no mistake, like, the fact that it's taken Cirie this long to get herself on the block is very impressive. I mean, just a few weeks ago, everyone saw Cirie as, like, the biggest target in the house besides Jared, and the way that she's been able to get that off of herself, so much that this was the last person anybody wanted to touch the block is just very impressive. So honestly, like, the fact it's taken her this long is definitely still something to be proud of for sure.
Oh, definitely. Like, it's
and now I think it's only Bowie and Matt that haven't touched the block.
Yeah, just those three.
Yeah.
Or just
No,
those
just
two.
those two. Yeah.
Just those two. Yeah, everyone else has been on the block at least once.
Yeah.
So Felicia says they can mess with her all they want because she got a mustard seed faith that's going to carry her to the end. She hopes her experience has shown that even if she goes on the block, she's come off 3 times and intends to come off a 4th. So they should look for another target with who she will win veto and take herself off the block.
Indeed, you can't put up Felicia. She's not gonna leave.
Pretty much. Matt says he thinks Bowie wants the least amount of blood on her hands, so she doesn't want to go after big threats, and he knows she doesn't want to take out Cam, but hopes he can convince her she really wants the 3 of them at the end. It's the best time to do it. With the veto comp coming, it's a great time to have a win, take someone down, and put up someone like Cameron.
Yep.
Cameron says if he plays in this veto comp and wins, he most definitely wants to use the power of veto. If Bowie does feel comfortable with him using it, he would hope she would want to put Cory up. Not only would it be good for his game, but they could all finally get him out of the house. And that's finally the end of Sunday's episode.
Jesus Christ. Now, I will say, Tuesday and Thursday, we don't have nearly as many notes, especially Tuesday, because there's really not a ton to talk about, but we will get into it.
Yeah, it was still a good episode, but yeah.
Yeah, most of Tuesday is the comp.
Yeah, it is. So Bowie says she nominated Cirie and Felicia because she hasn't really trusted them since the Red Blindside, and she just doesn't talk game with them, but Cirie is ultimately her target. She's brilliant at getting her trust, and she's a survivor legend, so if she made it to the end, she would win, and that's a good reason for her to go. Cirie says she's here for 65 days not being on the block and was hoping to go a lot longer, but at least now she gets to play in her first veto and she really needs to win it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the best thing about all this, that Cirie literally has not played in the veto all season. Now she gets to finally do so.
Oh my God.
Which is insane, by the way, the fact that she hasn't even been chosen.
Oh, I know. It's like crazy. And also would have been cool if she won her first veto.
I was very much hoping for that. That would have been so cool, but you know, we'll get to that.
So Felicia says she just got put up on the block by fucking Bowie Jane of all people. They always knew there was a facade with her. That grin is fake, and all she can say is she's survived 3 evictions, and she will survive 4. Cory talks to Bowie and Jag that the way he sees it is there's a couple people gunning after him, such as Blue, and Cam is getting there. He wants to know if there's a benefit for a Cam backdoor. Jag says yes, because Cam is loyal to Cam. Bowie thinks it's a bit dirty, and she's been trying to keep her hands clean. Cory says he needs Bowie to backdoor Cam, since if he plays another HOH, he will win and nominate him, and he might go home. Bowie says Cameron has never done anything to her, and until she does, she doesn't think he should be put up, and right now her target is on the block, so she doesn't think she needs to change up these nominations. Jag says he agrees with Cory and that Cameron needs to be backdoored. These next couple of weeks are critical to setting up his endgame, and he wants to keep America Cory around for another week so they can take a shot at Blue. After that, and they will have fulfilled their main purpose, and he and Matt won't need them in the game anymore, and they can take them out, and he can then have his ideal final five of the two of them, Bowie, Cirie, and Felicia.
Yeah, they really give Jag like a mastermind edit this week, and I don't necessarily blame them because I do think Jag is very instrumental in making sure what happens this week happens. But I mean, I'd be down for this final five. I feel like that could definitely be like a fun one to watch.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't end with a Matt and Jag final two, that's all that matters to me. Like
I'm here for like the women.
Well, it's also like, I just don't want to see two people in the final two that won because of like comps. Well, I will say I don't think Matt is in the game because of comp wins. I think he's insulated himself very well in the house, and he has only won a couple comps. But Jag is here because
he only won one, which was the one to save Jag with the one power.
But Jag is here because he was saved by a power and has won a bunch of comps. Like, that's why Jag is here.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't say it's because of his social game.
No, his social game is very iffy.
It leaves a lot to be desired.
Bowie says to Jag that taking out Cam is a good idea for his game, but only his. Bowie talks to Cameron that people are panicking about him and Blue, such as Cory. Cam agrees and says he's trying to angle him, which Bowie says he's pushing very hard. And Cameron says Cory's already gunning after him. Now he knows what they have to do. He's going to get Cory out of there and should have done it last week.
Yeah, I mean, literally, he should have. Like, this is exactly why he needed to get Cory out last week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Like, he says to Bowie that if he was to backdoor anybody, it would be Cory. In fact, he wants him backdoored this week, and Bowie says this is not good for her game. All she wants is for Noms to stay the same. She asks why she should make a move since it's mainly just blood on her hands. Cameron tells her if she wins veto, she takes Felicia down and puts up Cory. And he would go home, and she says she doesn't want to do that because America would be after her. And he says she's not coming after her because he was basically trying to underestimate America's game.
Well, they also don't show. I mean, there's nothing to really underestimate. She's not playing a good game, but there's nothing to really. If anything, you can overestimate America's game because there's really not much going on there. But
I mean, Cameron was just doing what he does best, underestimating women.
Yeah, the part that I think is really funny about this that I wish they would have emphasized more on the show is that Bowie keeps telling Cameron repeatedly she doesn't want to do a backdoor plan. She's talking about him. She's not talking about Cory. She's talking about how people want to put him on the block, and he keeps pushing for it. He's like, no, you should do a backdoor, and here's why. Not realizing he's basically selling himself out. Like, it's so bad. Like, again, how can you say to me Cam is a good player when he's literally unknowingly advocating for himself to go on the block?
Exactly. Ugh. Bowie says Cameron and Cory pitching each other is perfect, and it's exactly why nominations should stay the same, so next week they can just go after each other instead of her.
Yep.
Cory says if they make this move, they have all the strength and power and will win so many competitions, even though Cory has only won once and America has won a whopping 0. But whatever, Cam.
I did write that, yeah, because it's true. I mean, literally, like, I don't understand why he thinks America and Cory are so dangerous when they haven't proven it. Like, they haven't won a bunch of comps. They haven't been able, like, they've been wanting to do stuff this season, but they're not winning comps, so they haven't been able to do them. So I don't understand why Cam is like, oh, they're going to win everything when America's won nothing, Cory's won one comp. Like, that's not impressive.
Yeah, it's not at all.
Yeah. Now, if he had said, oh, they're going to, like if he said something like, oh, they're going to win everybody over in the house, that'd be a different story. But similar to like Matt and Jag, or similar to Jag, all Cameron cares about is comp wins. So, you know.
Yeah, like camps are not, comps are not everything at all. Like, It's really
There's
like
always that one person in the house every season who's like, we want to see who won the most comps. Like, who cares?
Like, literally, comps are not everything. Like, it's about also what you do with them.
Well, yes and no. I think this season they kind of are something because a lot of the comp wins have been detrimental to like this season and why certain things have gone the way they have. But yeah, it's always about what you do with those comp wins, not just the comps themselves.
Yeah. So Cameron says Bowie being so against putting Cory up makes him think she has something going on with Cory. So playing and winning the veto is very important.
I don't know.
He tells her she couldn't make a better move than Cory. Ugh, whatever, Cam.
I don't know what he's thinking here. This is such a bad read. Why, especially when Bowie's HOH, why are you thinking this? Like, it's so bad.
It really is.
So it's okay. So Jag says, as far as he and Matt are concerned, their only true allegiance is to the Minutemen. And
sorry. Huh? Oh no, sorry. I was replying to Shreya. Shreya.
Okay, they definitely know who that is.
Oh, just yeah.
Yeah.
Jag tells Matt they have to talk to Bowie because it sounds like she may not be down to backdoor Cameron. Matt is confused as to why, and Jag explains her reasoning. Matt thinks they should talk to Bowie and that everyone has to get their hands dirty.
Yep.
Jag says as far as he and Matt are concerned, their only true allegiance is to the Minutemen. And even though they made the fugitives with Cameron, they were only using him for votes and they can no longer need him. The first step is to getting him out is finding a way to get Bowie on board. All right. I mean, yeah, I think the fugitives would last that long, honestly.
No, yeah, we kind of.
It was really just like to like stay on their good side and or stay on Cam's
side. I was hoping that was the case. I was hoping this wasn't something that was gonna last, and I'm glad to see that was.
I was just hoping that men's alliance wouldn't last.
Yeah.
Also, yes, I was especially distracted with my Instagram and Chase, especially. I can't help it, but I'm glad I'm back.
Oh, she posted that like forever ago.
It's cute. All right, so it's time to pick players for the veto competition. Cameron says he's not getting the best vibes from DJ Bowie, which was kind of funny, actually. So he's really hoping his name comes out of that box. The only way he feels safe is if he wins POV. Bowie says she really wants Matt or Jag because they're great competitors. They're working together, and she thinks they'll do what's best for her. So Bowie then draws Matt. He is thrilled. He is super thrilled. He pulled his name out. If he wins, he can use the veto, and they can get Bowie to backdoor Cameron. Cirie draws Jag, and Felicia draws America. America is excited to play in the veto. She really hopes she can win this, but that way she can protect herself and Cory from going anywhere near the block.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron talks to Jag and asks him what the odds are, and that Mimi wasn't completely wrong about Bowie being close with America Cory. Jag says there's always a chance, but he's doubtful it would be her.
This is so stupid. Like, I don't understand why he's pushing this now. Like, this is easily information. Like, if you ever have a doubt in your mind when somebody is HOH, you use that when they are not HOH. Like, that's happened to me in games before where, like, someone's been HOH and they say something to me and I don't know how to feel about it. But you know what you don't do? You don't push it when they're HOH. Like, that's, like, rule number one of, like, Big Brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who's Coey?
Coey?
I mean, Cameron says Bowie shutting down the option of Cory going to the block makes him think Mimi's speech when she was leaving is a little less lies than they thought. He's got a weird feeling about what's going on. He's got to talk to Jag because they're in the fugitives. Now he's playing the POV, all the better reason to get on the same page with him moving forward. And I'm very happy Cameron was not picked.
Yeah, honestly, this was like the best outcome. I think we were all just kind of waiting to see if Cam was picked for the veto. And then the moment he wasn't, I think we knew what was hopefully going to happen.
Yeah. Cameron tells Jag that Bowie is trying to make up weird justifications as to not go after the two of them. Jag says he doesn't think Bowie is scheming, and Cameron feels she has been roped into something to where if she goes after Cory, that would be going against something, and if he is not chosen at the back door, he has red flags.
Okay, but Cam, like, wait until somebody wins the veto and then bring this up. Like, don't bring this up before you play the veto. Like, this is something he should bring up afterwards, and then it could actually be effective. Right now, like, there's no reason to be going on about this.
Yeah, exactly. Jag is just telling Cameron what he wants to hear, and he's playing right into their hands, saying the stuff about Bowie, and now he's going to use it against her.
Yeah, and good on him.
Hell yeah. That was actually good. So Jag talks to Bowie that Cam is so sus about her, which he says it didn't take long. He updates her and tells her not to say it to anyone, and he talks to her about how Cam is trying to insinuate she has something with the mayor Cory, and she says he doesn't trust her. Bowie says hearing that Cameron is suspicious of her is extremely concerning. She's been trying to protect him, but if he's saying things about her, she may need to think twice. She's still not 100% sure what she's going to do, but she has to win the veto so she can make the right decision. Jag tells her he was throwing her under the bus hard, which she says he's going to dig his own grave.
Yeah, I mean, just
so that's
horrible.
That's basically how she's like, yeah, I'm going to backdoor him.
Yeah, because like the thing with Bowie is that she was kind of just looking for like a reasoning to target Cam, and now she has that reasoning pretty much. And again, Cam made it, so now she has a reasoning. Like it's horrible gameplay all around. So, okay, let's get to the comp here. So the house guests receive a transmission from the Scrambleverse, but instead of a message, Zingbot appears. And we were all kind of wondering, like, how is this going to be Zingbot and OTAV? Because we knew that the comp was probably going to be OTAV. They haven't done OTAV yet. They don't usually do it this late into the season, but I think we knew that OTAV was coming up. And, well, the way they did it, I actually thought was pretty clever. They've done some weird shit with the multiverse this season. This I thought was actually pretty cool. We see this Zingbot is actually from the Scrambleverse, and over there, his zings are a little different, in which he's constantly dishing out compliments instead. We've seen this before in BB16, if you remember, when the Zingbot was like broken and they had to fix him because he was saying compliments. But this was a little different. This is a Zingbot from like the multiverse and things like that. And when they head to the backyard for the veto, they discover that the Zingbot they know and love is actually OTAV, which I thought was a really clever idea. I liked this a lot, actually. I thought this was
I
a
did
fun
too.
way
It
of
was honestly
mixing
really
it up.
fun. Honestly,
Yeah,
like,
like this.
I also really liked most of all the things too. Besides like a couple, I was very
Yeah, I was gonna get into that. But I thought this was one of the more clever things they've done with a multiverse twist. There's been some things this season that I think have just been really weird, but this one I liked quite a bit. So we then get the traditional segment of various things, and yes, as Ali alluded to, I actually liked most of the zings this season. I haven't been enjoying them much recently, especially I would say like since Big Brother 23, they really haven't been that great. Last season's wasn't vicious enough, in my opinion. There were people who deserved a lot worse than what they got. This season, for the most part, I did enjoy them. We start off with America's, and it's about how she is a cradle robber to Cory. I thought this one was funny. Everyone pretty much has, brought this up throughout the season. I think there were other things they could have said about America. They could have played into her not winning comps. They could have.
I don't even think like her being a cradle robber though. Like, come on, she's not that much older than him.
Yeah, I think it's definitely low-hanging fruit, but I think that it was still like fun. Felicia's zing is about having wrinkles, which she denies having, as well as basically everyone else.
I remember Blue was like, she's got great skin.
Well, the thing with this zing for me, and I don't know if you agree with me, but like Felicia is such a huge content machine on this show. She's given us so much that they could have zinged her about. Her mic packs, her falling into the pool.
I was thinking I wanted her mic packs one. That would have been really funny.
No, I would have loved them talking about her grocery lists. Like Felicia, they could have done something to the effect of like, Felicia, you've been in this house for a very long time, but I think the thing you will be the most known for is constantly ordering groceries, zing, or something like that. Like I think that would have been
funny.
because she's always asking for like food in the house and things like that, or her singing in her sleep. Like there's so many things they could have picked on. This is like the most obvious. Like this was the one zing that like just isn't working. This was just like when they called Tiffany old in Big Brother 23. Like there's so much more you can do with Felicia.
Tiffany wasn't even old. She was like 30 something, wasn't she then? Or
no,
40?
she's in her 40s. She's in her 40s.
Wait, oh, she's still. Oh, I thought she was like late 30s at the time.
No, she's in her 40s.
Okay.
She was 40 when she played, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
But now she's like 42, 43.
Yeah.
I think that I think this zing was just very low-hanging fruit. I wasn't huge on it. But the next one I liked, Jag's zing is about how boring his gameplay is. He's called a Borvet in Ashton Moron or a Lamborghini. I thought this was fun.
You mean Lamborghini?
Yeah, Lamborghini. I mean,
that is pretty accurate. Like I love Jag, but his gameplay is pretty boring.
He's always the one to shut down like anything fun. He's always the one to like, he literally stopped the Cory backdoor from happening. So I thought this was pretty accurate. Blues is another one I wasn't big on. Her zing is about how the only thing worse than her catchphrase is her sense of fashion.
I will say, like, I actually like her fashion. Like, I don't know why they just call her out on that.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't.
Like, she doesn't even dress bad.
I think they honestly could have played into like Jared having like a girlfriend or something like that. Like there's a lot they could have done with Blue here. And I feel like her sense of fashion was like, why are we picking on this? Like there are things like that, her catchphrases, absolutely. Like that's definitely something that she should be zinged about. Cause I think a lot of people agree that her catchphrases are really fucking cringy. But her sense of fashion, no, I don't understand why we need to pick on that.
Then her DR was funny after.
Yeah, she says that Zingbot looks rusty, crusty, and dusty. So Bowie's zing,
she's like, don't try me.
Yeah. Bowie's zing, I think, was maybe my favorite. It's about her having really big teeth that terrify people, being compared to a big white shark and also having pigtails. I thought this one was really funny, honestly. I liked this a lot.
Jag's CR was funny, too.
Yeah, Jag talks about how Bowie's teeth is the first thing that he notices. Then they do something a little weird here. Mimi gets a zing, even though she's out of the house. They talk about how non-existent she is so much that Zingbot forgot she was no longer in the house. What did you think of this one?
That kind of makes sense, though, because she didn't really do a lot either, but it wasn't also... But in a way, it wasn't wasn't her fault.
I don't think we talked about this on the last podcast, but like she literally wasn't even in her own eviction episode that much. Like she didn't even get
she just was like, yeah, it was just not her season.
Yeah, it really wasn't. But I don't think they've ever like correct me if I'm wrong.
She was way too passive too.
Yeah, I don't think they have ever done a zing for somebody who's no longer in the house. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I will say Cory's DR about it after was funny. He's like, you forgot she was in the house? I haven't. I replay it every day in my mind.
Yeah, it was so good. Matt's zing, we'll talk about. It's about how he is as dumb as the cardboard cutout of Josh Duhamel he hung out with. Jag agrees it's a good thing he can swim. I didn't understand this. Like, how has Matt shown himself to be dumb? I feel like I
don't think he's dumb at all.
Very intelligent.
People are underestimating him too.
Yeah, like I understand that's the game he's trying to play, but I feel like this is like very easy to do. It's like, oh, he's a surfer, so like he's like a swimmer, so like let's make fun of the fact that he's dumb. Like I think there was more they could have done with Matt.
I think he's just trying to play it as he's just like a surfer bro.
Well, yeah, swimmer, yeah, but yeah, swimmer, but like I think the Josh Duhamel thing, like you easily could have played into, like you could have said something like, there's been a lot of show. You know what they could have done that would have been really funny? Zingbot should have said, there's been a lot of showmances this season, Blue and Jared, Cory, but I think the best one of them all is Matt and Josh Duhamel. Zing, something like that. I think would have been funny.
Good one, actually, yeah.
Yeah, like I just like him being dumb.
It would have also it would have been kind of funny if like they made fun of like Reilly's promise or something.
That also would have been funny if they made fun of like his obsession with Reilly, because he still fucking talks about her, which is so weird.
Are they gonna get together later? I don't know.
Probably not. But
maybe.
Cirie then gets a zing about how she is once again about to lose on an island, which is what she does best. I thought this was good. I liked this one.
That was great. I love that.
So Cirie says fuck Otev, and she says she likes the other Zingbot more. I thought this was a funny one. I liked this one a lot.
So funny.
And it's like perfect for Cirie because that's what's happened. Like she's played a lot of games with Survivor. She's never won. But maybe this will be the one. Maybe this will be the one that she wins a CBS, season 4. Yeah. So Cameron Zing is about how he's gone from a lieutenant loser to a major fucking tool. They all feel this was spot on. It's what they were all thinking. I thought this was great.
Oh, yeah. Like when it was going back and forth between all of them, and they were like, yeah, it's very true.
And then we get to probably the most memorable zing out of them all. Yes. America gets a whole song dedicated to her from Zingbot about how Cory is not worth it. He's a horrible kisser, how horrible his mustache is, how short he is, and how he should be thrown in the sea. I mean, this is the kind of thing that I want to see more of. I like when they go out of their way to do songs and things like that. I always remember the one that Christmas got in BB19. That's still probably one of the best zings. I love this. For me, this is the best zing in a very long time. I enjoyed this a lot.
So good.
Especially everybody's reactions to what Zingbot was saying, but she claims he's a good kisser now. Cory thinks this was brutal, especially with how many zings he received, and though he's destroyed as a human, it's the best day of his life as a fan. So yeah, overall, I would say the zings were much better this time around. I didn't like Matt's, I didn't like Blue's, I didn't like Felicia's, but the other ones were good, I think.
Yeah, those are the only three I'm like, no.
Yeah. So definitely more of, in my opinion, I think when you play into certain things that have happened throughout the season, that works a lot better than just low hanging fruit about their intelligence or appearance. I think stuff like what they did here worked a lot better. So
exactly.
It's then time for the veto competition. And it's the traditional Otev veto. There's a wall of losers from all the BB seasons, ranging from first boots like Joey and Jose to third placers like Victoria. And Otev wants to make a crap book for the most pathetic losers from BB25, but some of their photos have gone missing and they will have to race around and search for the picture for the loser that they need. From there, it's a traditional Otev style comp. One thing to note is even though this is Cirie's first veto, she tanks horribly in this one. She's out immediately, not being able to find it.
I know, and I felt bad for her.
Yeah, I know they said that they think she might have thrown it on some people think she might have thrown it, but I feel that was
didn't she get up there and she had the wrong one and had to go fix it?
No, what happened was she didn't even get it.
Was that America?
That was America.
Yeah, that was America.
Yeah, she didn't even get it in time. Everybody else got it. She didn't even get it. But it comes down to Matt, Bowie, and Jag. It's a fairly close comp between the three of them. Jag does end up winning veto here, which is his third veto of the season.
Oh god, he's won so many comps. I mean, it lives up to the Veto King prediction.
Yeah, so, and I think we knew at this point, Jag winning veto, Cam was probably going to go up, which honestly, kind of perfect, because the last time Cam left, Jag won the veto and took somebody down. So,
that's honestly so good. I love that. That's the karma.
So, Cirie talks about how, strategically speaking, the smartest play would be to use the veto and backdoor Cory or Cam, but these people aren't that strategic, and her life is in the hands of a lame Lamborghini right now.
That was funny.
Yeah. So Jag says there will be a space opening up on the block. He knows exactly who he needs to fill it. Cameron says he's an into, and so we know pretty much he's going to use it and put Cam up at this point. So Cam says that he's an intuition guy. He trusts his gut a lot, and he feels something is off, so he needs to talk to Bowie about it, which is what he should have done in the first place. But no. So he goes to her, asks her what's going on. She says it looks like Jag is leaning towards it, using it, so she needs to figure out options for who to put up. And Bowie says even before noms, Jag has been pushing for Cam to go up. Now that he's won the veto, she actually has to start really considering her options for a replacement nom. Cam asks her if she told Jag she doesn't want to use it. She says it's not really her decision. And she says with him, Matt, and Jag voting, it'll be whatever she wants. The only thing he doesn't want is him on the block. And she says she doesn't think there are any good options. And he says there's only one great option. She puts Cory up. He 100% will go home. All three of them are behind it. Felicia will also be behind it, or whoever comes off the block. It's done. And there's only one person who would vote for him. She says she just needs to work out how to not get blood on her hands in this situation. He says the least amount of blood would be him. She says she doesn't really know, and he says he doesn't like this and tells her to get real because she never put her in that position he never put her in that position and putting up the guy that kept her safe for 2 months. He never wanted to go against her ever. She says she hasn't wanted to either. She's only defended him, and he says he believes that, but if she wants to keep him safe, she can't put him up, and she says that she'll have to think about it. So Cameron says he doesn't know why Jag would use the veto, and if he does, he doesn't know why Bowie would put him up because he's done nothing to keep her safe, even though you literally just had suspicions of her a little bit ago, but okay.
Sure.
He worked his ass off for the fugitives. He has fought too damn hard to be here just to let his game slip away. So he has to make sure Jag doesn't use that veto. And Bowie says that she didn't even want to win HOH this week. She's been trying to play as clean a game as possible, but if Jag decides to use the veto, she will have to think about who she wants to put up as a replacement nominee. Cameron has been throwing her name around and questioning her loyalty, and she's not impressed, but they've also been on the same side for quite a while, and he's public enemy number one, so she could be a useful shield for her. So she will really need to consider if putting him up is best for her game. And once again, we have another Tuesday episode that ends on a cliffhanger. Do you think this was warranted? Do you think we needed this episode to end at the point that it did?
I mean, yes and no. I do think it's pretty spicy when it does that, but I mean, it didn't need to, but I mean, it's also spicy.
It is, but my thing is more so just like there's so much that happens like before the eviction. I feel like Tuesday is the last episode that you should try to end things on a cliffhanger. I feel like Sunday could be more appropriate. Even a Thursday episode would be more appropriate to end on a cliffhanger because just a lot of the time so much happens the day before the eviction that we miss. And because the fact that we're not getting the veto ceremony in the episode that's supposed to be the veto ceremony, it just is feeling kind of rushed. And I feel like that's the best way to describe Thursday's episode. It does feel a little bit rushed. It feels like there are some things that we don't really get to see. So anyway, talking about Thursdays here, Cameron talks to Jag and Matt about how strong the three of them are hoping to pull off a last-ditch effort to sway him away. Cameron says he's got a really bad feeling going into this one. He already talked to Bowie, and she told him he's going up if the veto gets used. Now he has to attempt to sway Jag away from that plan. He's already pretty positive. He's put it in motion, and he tells Jag and Matt he's done pushing for Cory to leave. He thinks it's better for them to have him and Blue going after Cory in America, and Cory in America going after him in Blue. Cam says he can remain the shield, and he thinks it takes the heat off the three of them. Matt says it's really not a bad idea, and Jag says that it's a good point. And Cameron says the cues are he's getting our lack of eye contact, them just looking at each other, vague answers, very generic. Those are all the signs this conversation is not going well. Even though he can feel the pressure, there is still a piece of him that hopes Jag is not going to go through with this. So Cam then tells them that if Jag used the veto, he's going to put blood on Bowie's hands twice in 1 week, which is something that she really doesn't want. So Jag says that Cameron has been really useful for him and Matt the past few weeks. As much as he feels for him, if they don't take the shot now, who knows when they're going to get another chance to do so. So Cam tells him it's his decision and to do what's best for them and himself. And then we finally get to the veto meeting here where Jag does end up using the veto on Felicia. Something they didn't show, but that I wish they did. This was deliberate from Cirie. She told Felicia specifically, like, you've been on the block a lot. I haven't. I'm fine with staying up here and things like that. So I wish they would have shown that because I feel like that's another really good example of just how good Cirie's social game is, that she told Felicia, like, I'll stay on the block, so you don't have to go up again. So
yeah. Like, I thought that was, like, really important. It should have been in there.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of show it, but, like, I wish they would have shown that, like, that was her decision. So, because it did kind of feel a little random. Like, why did Jag use it on Felicia? Why not Cirie? Like, I don't think they really showed that. So, Bowie then makes a replacement nominee, Cameron, who says that he's done this song and dance before. He's home on the block, which, I mean, yeah, the block is his home at this point. So Jag says that as tough as it was, Cameron is up and should be out the door. It was a well-executed plan, and since it's on Bowie's HOH, both Minutemen can compete in the next HOH. So they have Cory and Blue, basically at each other's throats. Felicia and Cirie are just waiting their turn to go. He says that he asked if they even know what time it is. Cameron then tells Bowie that she doesn't owe him a thing in the world, and she showed her character today, and he hopes that she's proud of that, which she says that she is. So Bowie talks about how she nominated Cam as a replacement nom because he's been lying, thieving throughout the house, throwing her under the bus, and she doesn't really trust him anymore. He's shown his true colors yet again. And Felicia, and yeah, I mean, that's exactly the reason he ended up going on the block here. It's because of the fact that, like, you know, he wasn't like he was throwing her under the bus. So, you know, it makes sense why she had to do this. So Felicia's overjoyed coming out the block, absolutely will be evicting Cameron all day long, which we love that, especially after him trying to go for her last week. Now she's here to stay and he's out the door. It's like the best outcome, honestly. So Cameron says he can understand making a game move if his friend comes to him and sits him down and says, here's what he's going to do. But this feels very pointed, structured, long in advance. And he was just being taken the fool. So Bowie then thanks Cirie for sitting up there. Cirie talks about how this was a few weeks ago. She was sitting on the block. Her ticket is done. But now she's kind of faded into the background. It appears she's checked out of the game. And while she never wants to be on the block sitting next to Cameron, it's not a bad spot to be in. And yeah, can we just talk about this for a second? Cirie literally is positioning herself to be on the bottom, and yet everybody still trusts her. How often does that happen? Or like,
literally, like
you have someone
good.
What?
She's just that good at being social.
Yeah, literally, like she was like down for the count like a couple weeks ago. I cannot restate this enough. Like, people wanted her out just as much as they want Jared out, and yet she has done such an incredible job of getting back in with people that now she's like the last person anybody wants to see go. It's just so impressive to watch. I mean, I remember when we had the double eviction and people were so worried that like Cirie was going to go up because they thought Cirie would go over Jared. And now Cirie's like literally on the block against Cameron. Nobody wants to get her out. So like, it's crazy. So Cameron said it's become clear that Matt and Jag were behind this. So he's going to make it clear to the rest of the house that they're about to get steamrolled by them. And the only opportunity they have is to keep him to fight against them. Hold on one second. Okay. So Cameron talks to Blue, says he doesn't know what kind of game she wants to work for, but if she wants to work a game and get as far as she can, she should leave Matt and Jag behind. So she's confused since they were all working together, and he talks about how it was never just the three of them and Bowie, and then there were the three of them and Blue, and then the three of them and Cory, and she's only been set up to hate Cory and is a sinking ship, and it's the only shot or she'll be in jury with him next week if something doesn't change. And in my opinion, Cameron should have been doing this from the beginning. He absolutely should have been throwing Matt and Jag under the bus. It is way more effective than trying to...
he is putting in some good work here, but he's still not a good player.
I mean, he is, but like, for what? Like, at this point, it's like, you know, he's on the block. You know,
it's too late too. So
exactly. So Blue is very much not here for this thing that Cameron's really just trying to save himself, especially wanting her to go after Matt and Jag just to help him, which is basically what he's asking her to do. So Cory talks to Cameron and talk about how Blue and Felicia are the votes they need to keep him. Cameron asks him where he and America stand, and Cory says that the truth is with them. They haven't fucked him over. And Cory thinks it's impossible to get Felicia out to vote out Cirie. He doesn't trust Matt and Jag unconditionally, but he trusts them more than Cameron. And if he flips the vote, he is burning those bridges. So good on Cory to realize like it doesn't make sense for me to do this. So Cameron says he's getting burnt by these guys. And if Cory thinks he has a solid relation with them and that all of this, he's wrong, but it's his game, it's his loss. And when he sees him in jury, he won't tell him he told him. So even though he will. And I hate to say this, but Cameron was right. I will just leave it at that. He was right.
In that sense, he was right, but
yes, he was right about this particular conversation. Well, I'm not going to get into it more than that, but Cameron did have a point here, and I will give him that credit. Now, the episode takes a slight turn after this. We get some gaming, and then we get like a bunch of filler segments, and Allie's going to talk about one of them.
All right, so Matt sees a conversation between America and Blue, which they are whispering, and they start doing so around him.
Yeah.
Matt talks about how in the real world people know not to whisper around him as it's super offensive and it's the number one thing not to do around someone who is either deaf or hard of hearing. But in a game that's 80% of conversations when people whisper around him, it sounds like hard breathing, everything is muffled and hard to make out. He can read lips very well 101, but there's often a lot of head turning, and what happens with that is he starts going off track in conversations and gives up.
Yeah, I mean, I think what?
Oh, I was just gonna say, what do you think of this segment?
Oh, I thought this was great. I think honestly they should have shown this a long time ago. Matt has talked about a lot in the house, so like he hasn't really been able to, and this was early on the game. It's not really as much of an issue now, but early on the game, he talked a lot about how, you know, people keep whispering around him and he just kind of feels like he's not able to fully understand the conversation that's going on. He's not able to fully bond with these people. This was a big issue for him the first couple of weeks. And while I think he is in a much better spot now, it's always going to be a struggle for him just because of the fact that like he can read lips and people whispering, he can't tell what they're saying. So I really like that they did show this. It doesn't change the fact that I don't think they've done a great job of accommodating him all season.
Agreed.
But I do think this was a really good segment.
Oh yeah, like they definitely need to do better with accommodating him. Yeah. Especially like in the beginning, it was horrendous.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot better now, but like still.
They've like definitely improved, but I'm glad they showed this segment too, just because like he doesn't like when people whisper because he can't hear.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad they showed that.
Yeah.
That was like another important segment.
Yeah, it's similar to like what I said about the Felicia segment. Like it shows us who Matt really is. It gets us to understand him more. Like I thought this was really good.
Exactly. So Jag goes to Matt and he expresses his frustrations with the people whispering constantly, and he comforts him about it and says he's doing a good job in a house full of whispers. And Matt says on the outside he doesn't deal with that. No one ever do that to him, so it's hard. So Matt says Jag is his bro, and he updates him on stuff every night, and it makes him that much happier for saving him with his superpower. So he talks to Felicia how upset he was about it, and she talks about how much he has accomplished as a deaf person on the show, and has opened so many windows of opportunity for other hearing impaired individuals.
Yeah, like I said, just a really, really good segment all around. And then we get a really weird switch in tone. We get this
we get a really like stupid segment.
Yeah, we go this really emotional segment, and then we go to like the most random thing they could have possibly done.
Yeah, so Cameron talks about some weird dream he had about Kevin Costner. We then get a segment where he names off all of his films. He talks about how he's seen every movie with him. As he's talking about him, others are questioning who he even is. Cory says he doesn't even know who Kevin Costner is, which was really funny. He's like, I'm too young for this.
It's just like, I don't understand why they needed to show this. Like, this is the last episode. We have Cameron. Why do we need to know he's a fan of Kevin Costner? Why was that like the last thing we needed to know?
This is like another segment we get in like the very end of the show.
Yeah, like this you could have put this in with the filler segments we got in the episode like a week ago. Like this was I don't know what the point of this was.
I don't know.
I will say this one with Felicia though at the end kind of saved it.
Oh, it was great. Felicia says Kevin Costner isn't even watching this, but if he is and wants to make a bodyguard too, she'd be with that all day, and he should call her for it.
Honestly, yes. Let's see Felicia become a celebrity after this. Let's see her get in a bunch of movies.
Oh my god, please! That'd be so good.
Don't just go on The Bold and the Beautiful. Go on like an actual
not
movie.
The Bold and the Beautiful.
I don't know why they always go on there. Probably because of CBS.
It should be something that's better. Be a different show.
Yeah, no soap operas.
No. So Cory asks Jag what the plan for next week is, and he brings up Blue, but is unsure if he can do it. Jag says for him, it's all about the Minutemen right now. He doesn't want to tell Cory about any of their plans because he's going to have to go at some point, whether it's by Blue's hand or him or Matt's. Cory is realizing it benefits Matt Jag for Blue to come after him, as they want her to do their dirty work, and he needs to find a way to tilt the odds in his favor. Cirie asks Cameron how he's feeling, and he says he hopes he gets another shot at this one day. He says if he stays, Jag has got to go. And while Cory is the brainiac, Jag is way more methodical. Cam says while he knows his game is tanked, he wants to at least do what he can to help Cirie and set up the downfall of Matt and Jag. Not out for vengeance, and everyone wants to see a good game. So he says he didn't backdoor Cory last week because Jag begged him not to. His approach is let everyone in the house fight it out and stay clean with it and let them all kill each other. So it's him and Matt all the way to the end, keeping Blue close and keeping her pissed off at the Cory so that Blue will eventually go after Cory for them. He will use the remainder of this time here to help her line up anything with Cory in America and Blue, or no one will win this game except them. She says the problem is they have Blue so turned against Cory, it will be hard to turn her back around. And he says they will all turn on each other.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get what Cam is trying to do here, but like Cirie is literally the person that you're against right now. This should be like the last person you want to like know all this information, because like I know obviously that like I know obviously that Cam you know, knows that his goose is pretty much cooked right now. Like there's nothing he can do for himself. But I'm sorry, like telling Cirie all this information, one, just again a testament to how good Cirie is. Two, literally the person that's on the block next to you. So like
yeah.
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't either. So Cirie thinks Matt and Jag are in the best position, and they have everyone fighting against each other, kind of like for her when Izzy and Jared were here. Cirie talks to Blue, and she says she knows Cameron is on his way out, but she doesn't think he's making it up, and she needs to listen to him. And she brings up how dangerous Matt and Jag are. And how they will kick everyone to the curb, and once they get rid of Cameron, they can pretty much table. She needs to start thinking more methodically than personally, and while she can't pretty much reset the table. So she needs to start thinking more methodically and then personally, and while she can't stand him, they are pitting her against Cory and Cory against her. She gets rid of him, and then they are at what place with them?
Yeah, I mean, Cirie just kills it in these segments. You know, she realizes what needs to be done. I do think that Cirie is going to get to a point where her and Matt have such a good relationship. I think she could get Matt to turn on Jag. I really think she could. I think she has it in her.
Oh, I can definitely see that, honestly.
Yeah. Like, I think we haven't, like, yes, we've seen Cirie already kill this game, but I don't think we've seen Cirie make, like, her game-winning move yet, and I feel like it's coming up.
Oh, yeah. I can see that, honestly. That would be a very interesting.
Yeah. Like, I want to, like, I'm talking, like, I know it's a Survivor, but I want to see, like, Marianne taking out Omar level here. Like, I think that's coming from Cirie.
That'd be so good. Blue says it's one thing that when Cameron starts spewing bullshit, but when Cirie starts telling her it hits differently and she can't deny it, her, Matt, and Jag have been talking about taking out Cory right after Cam, but are they actually willing to get the blood on their hands, or are they just hoping she does it?
Yep.
Blue says when it comes down to it, someone has to take the shot at Matt and Jag because them being together is super dangerous, and Cirie agrees.
Mm-hmm. And I like that. I like that Blue talks about how, like, listen, when Cirie tells me information, I actually listen. Like, it really shows again how well Cirie has insulated herself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Just like she really just like works her social game with everybody.
Oh yeah.
Cirie then talks
people
about
she didn't like at first.
I know.
Yeah.
Cirie then talks to Matt and Jag says this is the squad he wants to go deep with. Cirie brings up how one of them wins HOH. They should go for AmeriCory because if Cory gets safety, they are screwed. And Jag says they should just throw the competition because they're so comfortable. So many people want to throw this next comp.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Jag says although he and Matt have been working with AmeriCory and Blue, neither of them can go deep into the game with them. Ideally, it's him, Matt, Bowie, Cirie, and Felicia. These are the people they want on their side and that they want to go against in comps. So if they can get the numbers right, they can really set themselves up for the end game.
Yeah, I mean, Jag literally talked about this in the last episode. This is like his ideal 5.
I know. That was literally, they just like copied and pasted. Cirie brings up how she does want people to go after Matt and Jag, but if they value her, she's fine with going after Cory in America and playing along.
Mm-hmm.
Jag says they've been waiting for Cory and Blue to take shots at each other, but he thinks it's time for him and Matt to start taking those shots themselves. The clock is ticking for both of them, and this next HOH is huge.
Yeah, and it is worth noting, prior to what we're going to talk about in a little bit, basically everybody was playing to throw this HOH except like a select few people.
Yeah, I think Cirie wasn't.
That's why I said a select few people. I think it was literally just like Cirie and Felicia, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Felicia wanting to throw it too. I'm pretty sure she did.
Maybe it was just Cirie and Blue then.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I thought I read Blue did too. I don't know.
Maybe it was just Cirie then. I don't know.
Cirie then talks to Cory and he discusses how safe she should be this week, but she's worried he's going to be a perpetual pawn for real targets.
Which is absolutely like a valid concern, like considering what's been happening to her and Felicia.
Definitely. Cory says everyone is so terrified of Matt and Jag. They are afraid of even saying their names, so that he needs to approach this carefully to make sure they're on the same page. It might be the small piece he needs to level the playing field with Matt and Jag.
Yeah.
He brings up how dangerous they are, that he will need her help. Cirie loves that both duos are going after each other while she sneaks her way to the end like she always does. Yes.
As she should. We love that.
Ugh, that's so good.
I love that she's literally like right in the middle of like both duos and she could literally go either way.
I love it. She's really like playing the middle.
Oh yeah.
So Cory,
which honestly I think like obviously I've only seen this season, but I do think that's when Cirie's like at her best.
Oh, definitely. Like she's fantastic. So Cory feels like Cirie is picking up what he's putting down, which is incredibly important. The next HOH is massive. He feels like this is a turning point of the game, and he will need everyone to come after Matt and Jag.
Yeah, so you got Matt and Jag who want to go after Cory in America, and you have Cory in America who want to go after Matt and Jag, and it's going to be very exciting to see how that plays out. But with that said, let's talk about the live vote and eviction, which actually we have a little bit more to talk about than usual. We'll talk about why in a little bit. This was actually a pretty fun eviction, I think.
It was.
Cirie gives a pitch shouting at her family. She thanks them for the time in the house, and she'll never forget any of them. Cameron then gives a pitch saying if they keep him, he will never vote to evict them and will throw all the competitions, going full Dr. Will here, being like, I'm going to throw every competition. And he loves them so much and he hopes he can stay on this ride with them. He also name drops Cory and then sits back down.
Honestly, I can see Matt being like, I was also too young or not born when Dr. Will was in the game.
Yeah, that would be funny if he did that. But yeah, so we get to the eviction here, and usually there isn't a lot to talk about, but it is worth noting throughout the eviction, everyone is calling Julie exquisite, with her very quickly catching on. I didn't realize they were doing this at first until we got to Felicia, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is the thing that everybody's doing.
I feel like they planned it.
From what I heard, I think I heard Cirie and like Blue were like planning it out. Like and even Cirie and Cameron's HOH speeches, they both said Julie looked exquisite.
Yeah.
And which I didn't realize, like there was a whole montage on YouTube of every time they said it. But Julie then tells America that she looks exquisite, and then when asking Cory, he just says good, which was so great. And I will say, Julie recently not been great. I think that, always that Chen bot type mentality. We don't really get a lot of great entertainment out of her these days.
No,
this felt like old Julie Chen, where it's like she's just like she's very much like off the cuff. She's not, this isn't her in last season where she's like with like the double eviction where she doesn't have her cue cards and she's like struggling to say things. Like, no, this is her like.
Yeah, I feel like she is back now, like a little bit at least. So she's like being her old self.
Yeah, this was her like just being herself, and I like this a lot. I thought this was a lot of fun. I like how quickly Julie like caught on to what was going on. I thought this was honestly one of the more fun eviction segments we've had in like a very long time. Like honestly, more of this because I liked this a lot. So in what has been a relatively straightforward week by this season standards, we do get to the eviction here with Cameron being the next person evicted by yet another unanimous vote.
I
So
know.
again, how can you say that Cameron is a great player when he has been evicted now twice unanimously? Again, like
that's crazy.
And then when he goes to hug Blue, she says that she hates him, and he says that I know, which I thought was such a funny moment.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, I love how blunt Blue is. There was another moment like early in the week where Cam talks about Blue, and she's like, Cam, I think you honestly are going to be the first person that I block. And I was like,
yeah, that
she's
was
so
funny.
fucking bold for that. I loved that.
They just those two just don't vibe. Like they just have like they have such different vibes.
I think it's literally like Izzy. Like they just they're not going to get along anytime soon. So
agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I think this cast, honestly, like I don't think this is going to be one of those casts that like hangs out a lot after the season. I think there'll be like a select few that do, but I think there's going to be some that just
I feel like the rest of them will hang out because like they don't hate each other.
I think Jag and Matt and like Cory and America will hang out, but I feel like Cirie is only going to hang out with like.
Don't forget Blue as well, because like Blue, I feel like Jag, Blue, and Matt are probably gonna go and hang out with Reilly again.
Yeah. I think like Cirie, it's gonna be like Matt, Izzy, obviously Jared, Felicia. It's probably it.
I can see that.
Maybe
honestly.
Blue. That's probably it, honestly.
Honestly, I could see that too. Maybe Red.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's like they were like Red and Cirie never had like a.
Well, Red did trust Cirie a lot, so I could definitely see that. But and maybe Hisam as well. I could see her hanging out with Hisam. But I think like in terms of the rest of the cast, like she's not going to be interacting with them much.
Yeah.
But so we get to Cam's exit interview, and he says that there's a lot of space and time in the house and a lot of time to mess up. And though he felt he was in a good position, he let paranoia creep in and said the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person. And this week is simply all on him. And I will say right now, this is fucking bullshit, because what Cam has been saying in the house does not align with what he said here. The edit he was given this season, honestly, I don't think was an accurate one. He is far more cocky than the show made him out to be. He was literally saying things like, I can't wait to see the opportunities I'm going to get after this. I'm going to be on the challenge. I'm going to be doing all these great things. Like he was literally talking about like what was going to happen to him next. He was talking about how he's going to come back on the show for like All-Stars or something. Like make no mistake, Cam does not think he's at fault for this at all. Like he was very much like getting on like Matt and Jag and things like that. Like he's trying to make himself look as good as he can. And so he admits the thing Bowie was in with AmeriCorey and not communicating with her first. He feels most betrayed by himself and feels less betrayed by Bowie, and feels a piece of mistrust crept in between the two of them. He talks about the various alliances he was in and how short-lived they all were, and he was simply afraid of commitment. And it's an interesting way to look, but he was always the one being gone after, regardless of the scenario. He knew he was a good competitor, but likely talked too much, and it drove a wedge between him and his alliance members somehow. He doesn't know what happened with Red and hates the way it went down. He says if he could play this all over again, he would change a lot of things and would take some serious words of wisdom from Cirie, thinking he doesn't need to take what's being said to others. He says he's ready for her to say we get this great moment where he's like, I'm ready for you to tell me I'm coming back in. And she says that she can't fulfill that wish. And honestly,
that was funny.
The most satisfying moment of the season. Just having her say that. Having her say that his eviction was final. Girl. And it means that we're finally done with Cameron. He's finally out of the house. We don't have to talk about him anymore. Yeah, I mean, should we talk about Cameron for a little bit? Because I feel like we've gone on about him. Yeah, I just think his game was just not very good this season. I think that
like he had like some okay moments, but like he just wasn't that good of a player.
I think his best,
like his first HOH was chaotic, but like and like I like the pie wheel, but like I still am not really a fan of his game.
Well, not his second HOH. His first HOH, he put up Dragon Blue. His second HOH was the one that was chaotic for sure. But I do think he did have some good moments. I think his best week for me probably was the week where he was a zombie and he was trying to regain like Matt and Jag's trust. I thought he did a good job on that week. He definitely had some good moments here and there, but he always had this attitude of like, I know everything. I don't need to know anything else that's going on. He didn't listen to other people when they present him information. He didn't seem to do very much with that information. The things that he should have done in the house, he didn't. He should have been targeting Jared from the beginning and he wasn't. He should have been targeting Cirie from the beginning and he wasn't. He should have been really trying to keep the alliance that he was in with Reilly together. I think him going rogue immediately especially put him in a really bad position because if you remember, I mean, he was like locked into that alliance and then just because they didn't agree with what he wanted to do, he went rogue and he started saying things about Reilly that she liked him and all this stuff and he saw his daughter.
He was like such a creep towards Reilly.
Yeah, creep towards Reilly, really creepy towards America. I don't care what people say. Like,
I mean, the America part did not start until Reilly was gone, so I feel like that was only because Reilly was gone.
Yeah, he really just gave me the creeps. I did not enjoy watching him throughout the season. I think he does have potential as a player, but there's a lot that he needs to do differently if he ever wants to come back. I think he needs to be more willing to listen to other people. I think he needs to not...
He needs to like really grow. Like, he's not even like young. Like isn't he in his early 30s?
Yeah, that's what makes it.
He's not like it's like when a grown man has a lot to learn, you know? Like if he wants to come back, you need to prove that and be better. Like,
well, I think he's gonna
once he gets out of the house, once he gets out of the jury house and everything. Like, I hope he reads like everything on social media and like really learns and grows.
I do think that he's a shoo-in for like the challenge at this point. We'll probably be seeing him next season. Yeah, I mean, think of all the people they brought back like from BB24 this season. Like, I think he'll definitely.
In that sense, I could see Reilly going on the challenge.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like if Reilly was still in, she probably would have been like one of the compies.
Oh, I think if Reilly was still in, she might have won this game. Just with the way that people talk about her, I think she might have won. So, because part of the reason
and also in that sense, Jag would stick with her over Matt.
Well, I think that probably would have been a 3, but yeah.
I mean, but it's just because him and Reilly were that wholesome duo.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, I do think Cam is, probably the best first juror we could have gotten. I wouldn't have preferred anybody else to go because everybody else left. I actually do like watching.
I mean, he could have been in like out of the house for good, but if it weren't for a twist.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that he is coming back. It really shows how unnecessary that twist was. Like, it added literally nothing to the season. Aside from, I think the only thing it changed was that Cirie had a week to like regain her footing in the house. I think that's the only thing that twist really did, and I will give it that. But like, other than that, what did that twist really amount to? Absolutely nothing.
It was literally just like because of the 100 days and shit.
Yeah, the fact that he needed to like keep winning comps to like put himself in the position that he did, like it just and I'm also just really hoping that the people saying he's winning AFP are incorrect because I don't want to see that happen. I think this is such a good cast. I don't want to see Cam win America's favorite player, especially after how much we've been like how much we've been like blessed by the winners.
I don't think they give him America's favorite player because like he was first juror. Like it wouldn't make any sense. It should go to somebody who comes at least like close or something.
The problem with that, and like others have said this, is that there are a lot of people that do think that Cam played this like great underdog game, and they thought that he put himself in this great position because his edit was very positive. If you look back on his edit, if you were not to watch the feeds, people look at Cameron very differently. They think Cameron is like this power player and that he should be rewarded and things like that. So I worry that he is going to end up, this is going to be like a Marty situation in BB Can 10, but we'll have to see. I'm hoping not.
Hopefully not.
Because what I'm worried about is that people are going to like split the votes between like Cirie and Felicia and we get a Cam win. I'm just hoping that doesn't happen. But Because that's what happened on BB Can 10. They split the votes between like Summer and Betty, and then we got a Marty win. So yeah. But Julie then announces a new twist, and the second she said that, I was like, oh my god, please, no, not this late in the game.
Yeah, we were just very nervous about this twist.
Yeah, BB Comic Week is going to be unleashing superpowers all week long, in which the HOH this week is going to be invisible, we find out. Invincible. And there's also going... No, invisible.
Well, yeah, but it says invincible.
Well, it's wrong. It's invisible. It's supposed to say invisible. I wrote the wrong word.
But I think they actually said it's the power of invincibility.
Yes, but it's like it's an invisible HOH.
I know.
And there's also going to be 2 vetoes. And
after this, I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad then.
It's not, but I don't feel like an invisible HOH like this late in the game is necessarily like beneficial. I feel like this was a very like crucial point of the season, and to do an invisible HOH like this late in the game, especially knowing the way it's turned out on BB Can 9 and BB Can 11 and how boring both of those weeks have been, like I wasn't really here for it, to be honest with you. And also spoilers. Spoilers, now knowing the outcome, I really wish they didn't do this.
Yeah, like we can give a little bit of live feed updates. So obviously Jag wins, and he literally tells everybody.
I wasn't done reading the notes here, but yeah. So Julie then tells them that they have faced a lot, but there's one multiverse week they haven't faced. They hear a loud crash in the HOH room, and when they go in there, there is a glowing orb of sorts. They also comment on how messy Bowie's HOH room was, and that's basically the end of this. But I guess now we can go into a little bit of spoilers here.
Yeah, we can give some live updates. Basically, Jag tells literally everybody, so he kind of ruins the twist.
Yeah, that's my big thing here is like, if you're going to do an invisible HOH, there should be penalties for what you can and can't do. Like, in my opinion, if you tell too many people, you should have the HOH revoked, because it completely...
either that or like maybe like some kind of penalty.
Well, the fact that he can play in the HOH next week, especially, is like really stupid to me. Because like Claire, when they did this with Claire in 23, if you remember, like she was the HOH and she had to throw the comp the next week. She couldn't compete, and like she could compete, but she had to throw the comp. I don't know why they're letting Jag compete in the next HOH, because it just makes this feel like
they should just have him they could just have him throw it as well.
Well, that's not what they're doing. They've literally said that like he can play in the next one. So it's just very frustrating, because like there's literally no stakes to this whatsoever. Like he can pretty much do whatever he wants, and then if he wins HOH next week, anything he did wrong this week he can just recover from, which I hate. I hate that that's what's happening.
I do think the like double vetoes are fine. Like it's literally just a veto.
I like the twist of the double veto. I just feel like if you're gonna do an invisible HOH, this should have happened like maybe the week after Zombie Week. I feel like that would have been a good time to do it.
That could have been.
But I don't know why.
This also could have been like America's HOH.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, not getting into it too much, but like
not America the player.
Oh yeah, okay. First of all, no, I hate that concept.
I know some people, I know like a Doomies or someone said like just have us be HOH.
No, because if that was to happen, it would be the most boring week of our lives. Like literally nothing would be going on, because they have no power.
In that sense, it'd probably just be like Jag, Matt, or Cory in America noms.
Yes, that would be interesting, but my thing is like it would be such a boring week if they did something like that. Like literally nothing would be going on, because what is there for them to talk about? They don't have any power. So like anytime someone brings up like
I don't know if I would like that either. Like I mean, it'd be like very interesting, of course, if like America had the power, but like it's like also just very like I don't know.
Yeah, it's like they do it. I know they do it on like other, like I think they do it on Big Brother Australia or like BBUK or one of those, but like I just I don't find stuff like that interesting. It's like there's nothing to talk about when you don't have any power. So it's like I definitely don't want to see them do that. I just feel like they should have one, they definitely should have rethought what the comp was going to be, because I don't understand why they chose like the most physical comp possible that's only going to work for a few people, therefore completely ruining the point of the twist, because you know there's going to be some people that likely did not win this comp and not just make it a crapshoot. Why wasn't the second veto that was played the HOH? That would have made so much more sense. Two, like if you're gonna have an invisible HOH, if they tell somebody the power for them to play in the next HOH comp should be revoked or something like that. Like there should be something more going on here, and it's just the most like boring outcome possible. I will say the way the week ended is a little bit more exciting with now Cory being on the block and things like that. But overall, I don't think this was the right week to do an invisible HOH. No, I just don't think.
They also just did not put any thought into it. It should have been like earlier in the game.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. I just don't think this twist works on Big Brother. I think this works in an org. I think if you're doing this twist, it should be on like an online reality game. I think a live reality game like this, it just doesn't really end up working. I think on like an online reality game where you can find ways to like hide certain stuff, it works a lot better. But I feel like in Big Brother, I just don't think it's ever going to work. So I think we just need to retire.
Big Brother is not, this is not an org.
I'm saying I think it works better in an org. Like this twist works better in an org.
Yes and no.
Why?
I mean, it could work in an org. I don't know.
It has worked in an org.
Yeah.
We played a mini where everything was anonymous. So.
Oh yeah. Which mini was that?
It was like one of the like anonymous minis that we played. We went on the block the first round, and yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it can definitely work. I just don't think it works in a I just don't think it works on Big Brother. I think we just kind of need to retire it, honestly, because I think it's like a fun idea like on the surface, but I don't think it's ever really gonna work. So that's just my opinion on that. But anyway, that's really it for everything we're gonna talk about with this week. I don't know why this video was so fucking long when it was a very straightforward week. But anyway,
there was a lot of game.
There was, but it was a lot of like just repetitive conversations. Like we could have probably cut half of this out.
I mean, a lot of it was a lot of them just like Cam and Cory going back and forth and crap.
Yeah. But anyway, there are things that we are going to plug, so we're going to go ahead and do that.
All right. So stay tuned for tonight's episode of Survivor. We're gonna try and do a live, not sure.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
If we have the time and everything, maybe, but if not, we'll probably just do a regular episode again.
It's gonna be a good one though. There's a swap happening, and
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes too.
And then of course we're gonna try and catch up on the Traitors. Maybe this week. We only have the first 3 episodes, so
maybe the Traitors will just be a show we never cover. Maybe that's just what's gonna happen.
If we end up not doing this first, like if we don't end up doing the first 3 episodes this week, we'll probably just end up doing a season review as well as like the other seasons, but we'll try, we'll see.
Yeah, maybe it'll just be that show that we always try and we just can never do. Maybe that's what's going to happen.
We just get so busy and everything. We always just like get sidetracked.
Yeah.
House of Villains, we might try. We'll see. Yeah. And then of course, this week's Big Brother, we'll like actually talk about the episodes.
Yeah, and then of course, I've heard this is a pretty nothing week, but yes.
And then everything else, like all of our other season reviews, will get done. We'll probably do those when like we don't have any other shows to cover, like weekly.
Who knows when that's gonna happen? But yeah.
But also, if you guys want to be a guest, just hit us up.
Yeah. So yeah, other than that, that's really it though for this week's Big Brother. As always, comment down below, let us know what you guys thought of this week's episodes. Love to hear your thoughts on all of that. And remember, couples who podcast together stay together. We will see you guys later.
Bye guys.